This is Byron from Artis Opus, and we're going to show you a close-up video on exactly how we've designed Series D and the process we use for dry brushing, with particular emphasis being given to the use of our dampening pad throughout the process. Now, the dampening pad helps you release moisture into your bristles, or onto them rather, in a very controlled manner, in a very light dose, if you will. So that does a couple of things. Just like if you're airbrushing and you put thinner in your cup before you put paint in to help it exit the brush more easily and with better lubrication, it's exactly the same idea. It'll help paint leave your bristles, which helps you achieve smoother, softer, more delicate fades in stippling and in dry brushing. It also helps clean your brush throughout the process, so it's kind of a win all round as far as brush durability goes, and also being able to work your way through multiple colours without caking on more and more paint. You'll often see me, rather than going to the colour I've mixed once and then going back to it when it stops exiting the brush as easily as I'd like, I'm going to be going to the moisture palette, and that'll help the pigment exit more easily, which also cleans it. So throughout the process I'll actually be cleaning the brush, and by the end of it I wouldn't be surprised if the brush is far cleaner than it was at the first stage. So I'm going to start off with dampening it. You only want it to be slightly moist, so removing some of that. See, if it touches your skin you can feel how moist the brush is. And taking our base coat now, I'm not sure if you guys will be aware of this, but dry brushing prefers to go on top of other dry brushing. It likes texture to go on other dry brushing or stippling or any traditional painting really. So even if you've primed your model, you still very possibly should be doing this. It also allows you to pick the colour that you're going on, and the stippling is a very fast process, which is the way that I'm going to be base coating here. Now I'm imagining my light source is coming from the top right, so you're going to see a lot of my strokes are going to be coming from this direction here. This is the heaviest stage of what we're doing. It's very pokey. So each panel I'm hitting the top right more than I'm hitting the bottom left, but I'm also, it's not a strict hard and fast rule, because I also want to be hitting those edges. I want to be giving them attention, as well as kind of getting that global fade going on down the face of this model in general. A little bit more moisture than the moisturing pad, just put it on the back of the brush, press it in, test it. I'm using this on the back of my thumb, as you can see, because my thumb has texture, so I can see how it's going to behave on a non-flat surface. A built-up palette will absolutely have the same effect. Just testing it on your hand, it's entirely up to you as a painter. Okay, so I've built up that dark grey we're going in with. I've used a very large brush for this stage. I always like to do the biggest, use the biggest dry brush I can for the job. It helps you hit more areas, and I find it's better for kind of the global effect of dry brushing on the model itself. Swap palette. That was our extra large, swapping out just for the large. Moisten it. As you can see on this palette behind the model, I'll be dragging the paint towards each other until I'm happy with the colour that I've got going on. And stippling. Your dry brushes will shed hairs, that's completely normal. Just roll that off your model. Okay, so we can see here the effect we're looking to build up. A lot of people are making the comment at shows and when they see this technique in person in particular, that they think that things look airbrushed. That's a completely natural comparison. If you look what's happening here on these kind of feet sections, we're getting a very soft, almost buff, natural highlight. But the nice thing is, what you can't get with an airbrush is you can hit edges at exactly the same time, with exactly the same brush, with exactly the same amount of paint on the brush. And even though we're coming globally from this kind of top right angle, because we can control quite accurately, see I'm highlighting with a rolling motion there to hit these edges, we can control very accurately what is exiting the brush and where. Okay, back to the palette, some moisture. I'm going to take a little more of the white, add it to this mix. See, I'm rolling my brush, that's because I want to be using this brush from every single direction possible. It's going to be going up, it's going to be going down, so I don't want any one area of it to have more paint than the other. I want it to behave predictably. Going gently with that fade, just to get in some of these sections we might have to swap to a smaller brush in a second. These bottom bits are looking great, particularly small areas with sharp, stark contrast really do pick up this technique beautifully. There you go, some moisture. Going to take quite a jump now. More grey, or more of the previous colour. In general, we'll be exiting our brush because of the moistening and dampening process. Obviously we're working quite fast here. It's important to let your paint dry. Swap out for a smaller brush, to the medium. Pretty much exclusively white, tiny touch of the grey, and we're going to be using this brush very gently. Basically this bottom section is looking fantastic now. Generally building up that kind of texture and patina. We could go smoother than this if we want, but given the type of vehicle this is, a bit of visual interest and kind of texture and age to it is absolutely perfect. Pretty much on pure white now, to make sure that we take it on the sides of the brush, especially on a smaller one. Edge highlighting now. Always working directly against any lines or angles we have, never with them, always across them or against them. And now I'm going to look very, very carefully kind of buff this and pick out any of those bits of texture that we've added throughout the process. Get this little detail in the centre here from all angles. Flick off the powder we've got around the sides. It's a natural effect of dry brushing, but we can easily get rid of it. There we go.